Daf Lamed Vav of Maseches Sotah spends a lot of time talking about the greatness of Yosef HaTzadik. And one of the things it discusses is the famous story with Potiphar's wife who tried to seduce Yosef. And the Gemara tells us that in that moment of Yosef's greatest challenge, it says that that in that moment, the image of his father, of Yaakov's face, appeared to him in the window. And that sort of helped him overcome this challenge and resist this temptation. So Reb Simcha Bano of Pshischa discusses why specifically his father's face. What's sort of the meaning here of why the image of Yaakov Avinu specifically would push him to be able to overcome this temptation. And he explains that in general, Yosef's unique avodah was having the ability to live in a place that was full of corruption and full of evil and be able to rise above it, right? He lived in Mitzrayim, which was a very corrupt society, and he was able to live this life of integrity and holiness even while being surrounded by so much evil. And Yaakov, on the other hand, was someone who was ish tamim, right? His whole avodah was all about being purity and innocence and living away from any sort of negative influence. And the meaning of this idea that in that moment he saw the face of his father is that Yosef realized that even though he has this ability to be surrounded by corruption and be able to rise above it, there are times, right? There are moments when he has to acknowledge the path of his father and kind of remove himself entirely from this evil situation in order to maintain his holiness. And seeing his father's face was sort of this acknowledgement, this realization that the path of his father was the path he had to choose in that moment.